All right there. So this is addressed to the mothers of junkies. And there'll be stuff in here for everyone, hopefully. But I'm certainly addressing those people. Because I've had one, I've got one, a mother. Put her through absolute hell, imaginable fear. Fear that the telephone was going to ring. 24/7, my mum thought the phone was going to ring or the police were going to turn up at the door. Your son's dead. Your son with potential. Your son with intelligence. The son you carried in you. Dead. For less than nothing. An awful thing for a mother to have to endure. So I guess what I've got to offer is some honesty on the subject, which regarding drugs in general is thin on the ground, to say the least. There's a lot of rubbish talked about drugs and addiction. There's a particularly ugly lot of rubbish talked about heroin in particular. But from the outset, I want to dispel a myth. Your son is not chasing a hit. Seems ridiculous to me, the idea that heroin addicts, diacetyl morphine is for people with cancer. That's what it tends to be reserved for in a medicinal context. For people who are dying, for people who are on their way out, they just jab them up with smack, diacetyl morphine. And I got cancer in it. And when your child's taking it, they haven't got cancer, but they're medicating. It's medicine to them. Makes them feel normal. You'll hear that a lot. I just take it to feel normal. Because to a lot of people, an increasing amount of people in modern, alienated, atomized societies where the community's all but disappeared and the family is hanging on by a thread, if at all, we're seeing more and more of these people. The opiate crisis sweeping America. Because this stuff works, it works as a medicine, it works as a painkiller. Opiates are strange in as much as they kill pain, physical and mental, emotional. And that's what your junkie kid is doing. Medicating themselves. That, this idea, you see it on the news or whatever, all these junkies shoplifting to get their next hit. It's all about it. All they can think of is the next fix. There's a reason it's called a fix, because something needs mending. There's no party left. There's no, you don't have a hit and sort of lay out, go, oh yeah, baby, bring it on. Most of the time, you'll see no change when a junkie's shot up. Most of the time, I can remember, pull the spike, put it in, down with the plunger, 10, 20 quid's worth, pull the plunger out, scratch your head a bit, pack up your rubbish, throw the spike away, carry on with whatever you were doing before, which is usually next to nothing, but not always. That train spotting, lauded as a great movie, and it's an entertaining watch, but as far as addiction and heroin goes, it's like a cartoon. What's it Renton says as the carpet is swallowing him in to the ground? Take your best orgasm and times it by 1,000 or 10,000. No. Take a an average orgasm and divide it by about 100. The only time you can say it feels amazing is when you're sick, when your body is just crying out for it on what feels like a molecular level. You know, when you're withdrawing, when it's just unbearable physically and emotionally. All that mental and emotional pain you've been tucking away, keeping at bay, avoiding. As soon as that clock's ticking and that heroin starts leaving your body, and you start with a few shivers, then a few tears, not crying, just your eyes watering, start yawning, oh, it's in the post. Now it's on, tick-tock, 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 tum-tum-tum. You've got to score. And as you're trying to score, which means finding money, and anyone who's been using for a year or so has burnt all their bridges, robbed everyone, lost all their friends, spent all their money, sold all their stuff, wow, that is usually crime. Got to find that money, and the longer it takes, tick-tock, 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 the sicker you're getting, and the sicker you get, the less able to sort out the money, and then the score will be. Scoring can be an all-day job. Getting the money, shoplifting, not getting caught, going to the police station, getting let out of the police station, finding a lift back home, bunking the trains, getting arrested for bunking the trains. It's just every day is that hours and hours. All right, mate, have you got any? Yeah, no, I want 4. What do you want? I want 4 brown and 2 white. No, all right, I'll be there in 10 minutes. You get there in 10 minutes. He's not there. Not a chance. Probably hasn't left home. Might not even have anything. Might be waiting for his dealer. Might be waiting for his dealer to drop a weight off so he can chop it up into bits and serve the likes of me. Oi, mate, yeah, I'm there. No. Why do you keep fucking ringing me? I said they'd be in a minute. No, all right, mate. They treat you like absolute shit. Deliberately, the people who end up in that game, powder power, they call it. They're failing so badly in their lives. I mean, they're a petty smack dealer, Jesus. But there's one class of people who's always going to be nice and friendly to them and do whatever they say, and that's their fucking customers. A junkie will literally crawl through a sewer of shit for a bag of smack. And I know that because I watched a documentary where they broke out of prison. They dug a tunnel. And when they were digging the tunnel in Mexico, they cracked the sewage pipe. 500 Mexican prisoners shit going through that pipe, filling up their tunnel. None of them would go down there and repair it because of the gallons of human excrement and piss that was flowing into their tunnel. So what did they do? Bing! Go and get a junkie. Junkie comes. Swim through that river of shit and wrap up that broken shit pipe. We'll get you a bag. No problem. Done it. A weird product, a weird commodity, smack. Probably the only commodity you can lower the quality, increase the price, you'll sell more, they'll buy more. Wow. What a mixed up, what an absolutely confused and mixed up puzzle of life it becomes. So you're there. He hasn't turned up. 20, 30 minutes. You're freezing cold. As you're getting sicker, it's getting even colder. A nice Tuesday morning in February. Wind's burning the side of your face. Now a couple of other junkies turn up because he's told them to meet him there now. Now you're like a flashing light telling the police, junkies here, junkies collecting here. They all look the same, hooded tops, dirty old coats, army trousers, last century's trainers, all huddled up, chain-smoking roll-ups. Give him a call. No, you fucking call. I ain't got any credit, as he gets out his phone from 91. Oh, man. So it's a payphone, but no one's got any money. Everyone's got about £9.82, £9.91. Almost, everyone's got almost a tenner in fucking dirty change where they've been begging, borrowing. I used to go around all the phone boxes, go in the change bit, see if anyone left anything in there. 15p result. Only another 300 phone boxes and I might be able to score. Hello, mate. Yeah, I don't mean to, no, I don't mean to pester you. It's just like, what I told you fucking ring me. You're bringing it on top for me. No, what do you say? He weren't happy. Hour later. Yeah, all right. Yeah, mate, listen, go up to the car park. Go up to the car park. Yeah, what one? There's, listen, you fucking idiot. Why you get me talking on the phone? I said, go to the fucking car park. Boom. What car park? Anyone know what car park? One geezer. Yeah, no, I know. He's all right, actually, Rob. He's probably having a bad day, isn't it? He's old man and that. He's actually all right. Fuck, is he all right? What kind of pillar? He treads all over you, Dave. He's all right, Robbie. Everyone shuffles to the car park. Give him a call then. No, fuck you, call him. Well, someone's got to call him, tell him we're here. Couple more junkies turn up. All right, John. All right, Paul. You all right, Paul? Nah, mate. Cancered up. That's what a junkie told me. I hadn't seen him in like 6 months. I said, you all right, Paul? He said, no, I'm cancered up. He had cancer. Just announced it to a group of people he see nearly every day scoring. No one gives a shit. Oh, no. You see Rob? Call him. I'll be there, man. 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 20, 30. Call him. 10 minutes, 10 minutes. This can go on for hours. Call someone else. It's much the same. No one does this for fun. No one's living that life to party. No one's doing that for a buzz. No one's chasing a hit. Their emotional existence is crumbling in on them. It's terrifying. And how do you get into that mess? Lack of options. Lack of available options. You know, I always say to youngsters, I don't believe the escalation theory. You know, you take this and then you start on cannabis and then you'll be on that, then you'll be on that. I mean, if that had any weight in it, everyone who's drunk a beer, alcohol, one of the strongest, most damaging drugs that absolutely can put you out of your fucking mind. Look at some of the things people do on alcohol. If the escalation theory had any weight behind it, everyone who had a drink would be jabbing smack, and I don't think that's the case. And I always say to youngsters who ask me about smack, listen, if you've done it and you like it, get help, because you've got a problem. You've just taken medicine. You've just taken an emotional painkiller. And you like that? You like losing your emotions. What a tragedy. Because emotions are what define us. Emotions are what make life worth living. You get to feel things, you get to experience things, you get to engage in them, you get to have responses to them, and people, connection. The opposite of addiction isn't being clean. The opposite of addiction is love. And love is all about connection. And people who take heroin and like it, they've got no love. They've got no connection. Now, I'm not blaming the mothers. Not blaming anyone, because there's plenty of people with no love, plenty of people with no connection who aren't junkies. But for whatever reasons, and it's a combination of a few, a lack of respect for the law, a rebellious streak, a fascination, availability, and a lack of love. And certain people will end up at certain nexus, they will end up at the center of a certain selection of crossroads, and it fills a love-shaped hole in them. So you've got to understand that. So if you're ever going to understand what's going on with your kid, the first thing is that. You've heard the saying, looking for love in all the wrong places. When you're halfway up a tower block in Kennington, 2 a.m. Sunday night, Monday morning, in a piss-stained stairwell, taking a bag the size of a fucking pea out of a complete stranger's mouth and into yours for 20 quid, and then sticking it in a hole in your groin. That's what that's doing there. That's looking for love in possibly the worst place. They're medicating. Scared of feelings. scared of their emotions, scared of reality. There's a lovely bit in Drugstore Cowboy. That's actually a film worth watching about addiction. There's a lovely bit where the main character gets clean and he's in a clinic. She says something and he says, do you know why junkies use heroin? And the therapist says no or something. She says, you tell me. And he says something like, to get through the hassles of the day, like tying your shoelaces. And while the point seems trivial and blasé and flippant, it's not the tying of the shoelaces that makes it hassle. It's the general state of mind of being in fear, being full of resentment, full of bitterness, full of fear, and empty of love and connection. So when they try that drug and they like it, loads of my mates tried it. Loads of my mates tried it when I started trying it. I'd bring a bit home from Soho, a few bags. None of us were addicts. Everyone would be having a little boot, smoking it on a bit of foil. They all didn't become junkies like I did. They didn't end up devoting 2/3 of their adult life to its use every day, 10, 20 spikes in the groin. They didn't need to. Didn't have the same effect on them. There was already love and connection within them. And you see, the problem, one of many, the problem with medicating your emotions, medicating your feelings, you don't only medicate the pain, you medicate the joy. You medicate all the positivity. You know, a fascinating drug though it is, it ain't that clever. It doesn't just find its way to the negativity. No, it blocks it all out. No pain, no fear, no joy, no beauty, no pleasure, no sex, not interested. Imagine that, a young man who previously was wanking 10 times a day, not interested. Sexless lives of junkies everywhere. And they're not going to stop. Your kid's going to tell you he's going to stop. He's going to tell you countless times. And the weird thing is, he kind of means it. In his limited ability to understand the gravity of what he's saying, the implications of it long term, and how someone else is responding to that emotionally, such as his mother, it seems all right. Yeah, mum. Yeah, no. You know, he's filled in the forms. He's made the phone calls. There's a local NHS detox centre that a few of his mates have been. No, I'm going to the Hollies. No, I'm going in 4 weeks' time. I've just got to ring him every day. Because that's a long way off for him. 4 weeks. He'll be thinking about that when he's walking up to the treatment centre on the day, and until then, it's the furthest thing from his mind. And on top of that, the best time to decide to give up heroin is when you're full of it, when you're full of smack. I'm going to quit this shit, man. I've been running around the estates for years, going to get a job, going to get a girlfriend, maybe get a nice house somewhere, go on holiday with my mates. Yeah. Sounds like a great idea. No. As soon as he gets into that treatment centre, as soon as it starts leaving his body, like one of those big balls on chains that they smash up houses with, it's gonna knock him in the head. Shit. This is what it feels like. This is what life's like for me. Feels like this. Terrifying. And to make it worse, not only is the addict Not only is the heroin leaving the addict's system, thus exposing him to the reality he fears so much, leaving him to the emotions which cripple him so, and they do. I'm not saying there's not a problem here. Damaged people that need help. We'll get to that. But when it starts leaving, not only are they forced to face their greatest fear, reality, themselves, but it's exaggerated 1,000 times. It's coming at them like a year's worth in a couple of minutes. You know, they're not just getting reality, they're getting loads of it. And there's a biological reason. When you're shooting smack day after day, year after year, your body's receptors, dopamine receptors, usually they just float about somewhere in your brain, and your body's natural dopamine will just glide past them, and they'll be like, have a little suck of that. That's enough. That balances me. With a few other mood chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, you know, there's plenty of them. Nice balance, healthy, well-adjusted teenager. But the junkie who's smacking there, they're feeding their brain with gallons and gallons and gallons of synthetic dopamine, essentially. Heroin's like dopamine. And so the body kind of fires, it gives a sack to loads of receptors. You know, the boss of the brain walks up to the dopamine receptors and says, all right, lads, I've got to lay a few of you off. There's so much dopamine around here. Look, I've got 30,000 of you receptors here. And a couple of years ago, fair enough, we only had a couple of dopamine come through a week. But now, you know, it's tons of it. So I've got to lay a few of you off. We don't need you all. So those receptors, beep, beep, boop, boop. So now there's just a couple left. Because there's so much dopamine. Don't need them all. When you stop taking heroin, those couple of dopamine receptors, there's nothing, next to nothing coming past, and they can't get it. And you know it. That's what I mean about that exaggerated feeling, that sort of magnification of reality. Because you're not even now where everyone else is. You're actually below par. You're actually living what is a fearful, unpleasant, terrible feeling reality. Yeah, you're there. Your biggest fear, reality and yourself. Now you've got to confront them both, but from a position that's lower even than it was before you started running. And if your son or daughter, friend, lover, I want to keep this kind of to mothers, is like late teens, early 20s. Some people get clean their first or second time. Most don't. They will lose pretty much everything first. I think I went to my first rehab or detox centre about 25. I went to my last one at about 42. And when I was walking up that pathway to that first one with my mother, with a little bag of chocolates and sweets and some clean socks and my favourite yogurts and hope, and her think, she thought it was all job done. You got yourself a place at a detox centre. Come on, no one wants to live that life. She's seen me go through hell. She's been dragged through hell herself. Of course you're going to get clean. You're a kid. You're a bright kid. I think I lasted about 4 days there. Next one I went to, done 3 weeks. Got clean. Left, scored before I got home. Just as a treat, you know, because I got clean. Not even joking. And I've heard many people say that. I bought heroin after I'd got clean, after I'd gone through absolute agony, mental and physical turmoil and anguish. I bought a bag as a treat. And in my head, when I bought that bag, it would only be one. You know, I'm fucked if I'm going to end up back on the smack. You know, that You know, I've been nicked countless times. My mum's house has been busted. My mum's crying all night. She thinks I'm going to die every day. You know, I'm not working. I smell like shit. I've lost my girlfriend. All that. Everything's gone tits up. Not going to do that again. Not for that shit. Had some that night. Woke up in the morning. Oh, fuck me. I can't do this. I can't do it. Fuck it. Steal something, go and score. And there we are. Back on it. It only takes one. It does only take one as well. There's a saying in NA, one's not enough. No, 1,000's not enough. And what? One's too many and 1,000's not enough. They will lie to you in ways which you cannot imagine. They will do what is required to get that drug. You know, my mum scored for me. My poor mother. You know, she'd never taken any drugs. She likes to drink though. But she scored for me. She gave me money to score day after day after day. Look, Mum, I've booked into that detox centre. No, I'm definitely going. Here's the deal. If you can keep me from getting sick every day until I go in, I'll go in. All right, then every day, 20 quid. A bit later in that day, Mum, you've got another 20 quid. I gave you 20 this morning. She's only a care worker. Didn't have a pot to piss in. Yeah, but the thing is, Mum, he's not working tomorrow. So unless I get some more tonight, tomorrow I'm going to get sick. And you know what that's like. All right, then here's another 20 quid. Got that, took that in the morning, sick as a dog. Mum, do us 20 quid. Mum, yeah, but I'll give you 20 quid last night for today. You said, yeah, but it weren't very good. The gear was no good. At one point, my mum actually gave me 20 quid and she went, make sure it's good stuff this time. Oh, desperately helpless. Bless her fucking heart, my poor mother. There's a book about addiction written by a mother. It's called Mum, Will You Lend Me 20 quid? Because so many of you people have been through this. And I absolutely feel for you. My mate, friend of mine, lives in Manchester, still using, said to his mother once, Mum, lend me 20 quid. She gave him 20 quid in that book. They will do whatever it takes to get a bag of gear, I promise you. They will pawn your wedding ring. They will steal from whoever's got the money. Because they can't hack it. And even if they go to rehab and do 6 months. Some rehabs are 6 months long. I know rehabs that are a year long. You go in there, you do detox, you work on a fucking farm, you have to clean the place, blah, blah, like a prison, like a fucking prison, like a prison camp. You can do a year and you can have 8 months clean. You withdraw, you're detoxing for 4 months, nice, slowly come down. 8 months clean, do your graduation, you're in there, you're talking to new arrivals. I was like you last year. No, I'm 8 months clean, never do that shit again. No, I've changed just for today. They'll trot out all the lines. But if they haven't changed who they are, if they haven't changed their ability to engage with the world, if they haven't changed their ability to understand reality and themselves, inevitably they will end up back on heroin or something addictive, some compulsive, obsessive substance or behavior that medicates them, that medicates the pain. That's what this is all about, self-medication. I went to rehab, another one, at 35. It was hell. For the first 4 days, I was just rolling around the room. I came into the rehab centre. They took me home because I was puking. And as I was sort of falling up the wall, I was being sick all on the carpet. And the boss went, take him home, back to the housing unit for the people in the rehab. And someone looked after me while for 4 days, just hell. Bouncing around the floor, puking, shitting myself, suddenly waking up, nightmares, hallucinations, crawling to the toilet. just hearing things. Then I'd done it, and I'd done all the work, done what I was told, followed the process, done all that, went to NA meetings, went to NA 2, 3 times, 4, 5 times a week, took on, you know, what they call them, I can't remember what they call them, service at NA. I started making the tea, then I was a meter and greeter, and I moved up, and then I was the secretary. I'd actually take the meeting. I took the big Soho meeting, 100 odd people in there, all the celebrities from the 80s that have washed up on Smack Beach. I'll be sitting at the front giving it all that. Got 3.5 years clean. Done my back in Thailand. Had a Valium, 1 Valium. Took my eye off the ball. Should not have had a benzodiazepine. Knew I shouldn't as well. Just thought, and here's the truth. I just thought, be nice though, wouldn't it? Just a quick Valium. Oh, a little blue Val. Come on, man. I'm 3.5 years clean. I'm in Thailand. Just a little blue Val. I'm not drinking or anything. I had that blue Valium. Woke up what I think was about 2 weeks later. About £30,000 gone from my account. I had a Glock 9mm on the table. There were ladyboys and prostitutes, broken glass, meth pipes, the lot in my mess of a room. Hundreds of blister packets all opened. To this day, don't know the full story of what happened. There was a few chases in there. Lost a couple of ounces of meth up my arse. Dragged it out with a fork. God knows what unprotected sex I had. With whom, if at all. So lucky not to have gone to prison. Out in Thailand, that mad, blacked out, running around town like a lunatic. Pure luck. Then there's all the dealing I got involved with to pay for me using, selling crack, getting into debt, hundreds of thousands of pounds, having people chase me around the country trying to shoot me. So even after that 3.5 years and all that NA and all that therapy and being asked to speak at different places and speaking at conventions or whatever because I was clean, it took a little bit of taking my eye off the ball, 1 Valium, and I nearly died. Nearly killed some other people. And, you know, got clean again, then used again. I've been to 20 or so detox and rehab centres. As I said at the beginning, started using early 20s, went on for most of my adult life. So the trick is, stopping taking the drugs is nowhere near the answer. It's the very basic and initial step. Because if you don't change yourself, you're going to need that medicine again because reality is too much for you. The reality as you see it, yourself as you see it, in that twisted, damaged, unforgiving, scared, emotionally immature state will require medicating. And why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't a 4-year-old in an adult's body with the adult realities and stresses of the world, why wouldn't that need medicating? It's terrifying, and that's exactly what it's like. An emotionally immature child in an adult's body being told they've got to work, being told they've got to have relationships, families, jobs, bills, taxes. 4-year-old? Or an 11-year-old at best. Adult children take drugs. Adult children become addicts. And that's what's needed. I remember giving a talk at a rehab centre once to the families. Remember that, the families of addicts who were in that rehab. Only a little room, only about 13 of them. All women, all mothers. And in a lot of my experience as well, and this isn't always the case, but the majority of addicts I've met don't have fathers. I didn't. I did growing up, but he died when I was 16. My descent into addictive drug use started, 17. Took a few years to get onto the smack, but it was always on the horizon. And they all kind of spoilt their kids. You know, I think they kind of felt that they were to blame for their addiction. I talked to them, I said, you know, when I would be at home and I go, Mum, I'm going to do a detox, I'm going to get clean, we'll do it at home. Another trip up the doctors, let's get the pills, let's get the ibuprofen, the paracetamol, the Buscopan, the stuff for the stomach, the stuff for the legs, the stuff for this. You know, the doctors and that will give you bags and bags and bags and bags of different tablets. You're meant to be taking about 20 of these a day. They just rattle through you, not touching the sides. You want opiates. And before I'd done it, I'd be like, Mum, right, let's go down to Sainsbury's. This is me all smacked out of my head. Let's go down to Sainsbury's, get some yogurts, get some fruit, you know, get some health supplements. Let's get this all going, because I'm full of heroin. Oh, it's like I said, it's a great time to stop when you're full of it. Oh yeah, let's do it. Well, start next weekend. And my mum would do all that. I think she blamed herself. And these women in this room, they were laughing at that. You know, one of them got back to me. She said, I always get his favourite yogurts. And I was like, what, when he's detoxing? She said, yeah, but, you know, he loves that banana and toffee. He's dying. So, of course, we get to the point, really, where I've got to offer you some hope and some optimism. And people do get clean. I got clean. My life changed dramatically. And I know people who, you know, people who lived on the street. I ended up homeless, but homeless is different to living on the street. Lived on the street, eating out of bins, got septicemia, got lung disorders, all sorts. Ended up clean, ended up married, ended up with lovely lives. It can happen, and it does happen. And you know, you as a parent, you can go to any NA meeting you want. Most of them will accept non-addicts. They'll tell you if not. If you want some hope, you can go there. You'll listen every meeting. You'll hear loads of people who actually done it, but they did not just stop taking the drugs. They changed their lives. They changed their outlook. They changed their relationship with themselves and with reality. They took on that work, and it took a long time. And there's many ways of doing that. There's the NA method. There's people who ignore all that, people who don't go to rehab, people who do go to rehab. But if you're going to maintain a clean and honest and worthwhile life, you have got to change. And I think the problem with a lot of addicts, a lot of using addicts, is they don't understand that. They don't want to understand that. They don't want to put that amount of work in. They want to shiver a bit in bed, shit themselves a couple of times, scream a little bit, cry a bit, blame a few people, come out the other end, have a couple of beers at the weekend, smoke a bit of weed, and it's all a bad memory. I've never known that. It's always right there. It's always one blue Valium in Thailand away. Now, I'm not saying you can't take other drugs. NA will tell you can't. I know people who've done that. I know smackheads who've got clean. They still smoke weed occasionally, still drink a few beers, but for sure they changed their relationship to themselves and reality somewhere along the line. I think that just the scale of the problem is what they've got to get in perspective. It's not about putting down the drugs. That is the easy bit. You hear it a lot. It's a nightmare. It hurts to fuck. It feels like death. It feels worse than death. But it's changing. Growing up, addicts don't want to do that. They just want to fuck about. They want to live in that hazy kind of emotionally immature, dependent on others, lazy lives. Nah, grow up, shithead. I don't really know what to suggest. I came up with the idea of this video to mothers because I just wanted to offer you a little bit of identification. You know, maybe look at some of those organisations. There's organisations for the families of addicts. You can meet people online. You can join forums. But they're going to lie to you all the way. They don't care about you. I remember once when I was about to start this rehab detox centre, in my hometown. And a mate of mine, he was an arsehole, but we scored together. He had the car, I usually had a bit more money than him, kind of balanced out. And I said to him, I'm going up the Hollies. I've booked into the Hollies. He went, nah. He went, fuck all that shit. I went up there with me old tit. He called his mum the old tit, right? He went, nah. He went, fuck all that. I went up there with the old tit, right? And they said to my mum, they went, he doesn't love you. And I was shocked. I was like, what? Because I thought, I love my mum. How dare they say that to someone? He doesn't love you. 20 odd years later, I thought about the hell I put my mother through. The endless hours after hours of fear that I was going to die. Hours, days, weeks, years, months, years. Do you put someone you love through that amount of pain and fear and worry and distress? No. You do that to someone you don't care about. You might want to love your mother. You might know you should, but that's not love. It's taking the absolute piss. So what I will say is educate yourself. Educate yourself. Don't let your junkie kid educate you. Because they're gonna sell you a very weird version of events. And the version of events your junkie kid is going to sell you, I guarantee the end of their little stories, the end of their version of events always ends up with them with a bag of gear in their hands. Don't listen to them. Don't trust them. Understand what addiction is. Find out from people who know. Arm yourself with some facts. Arm yourself with some reality. Because you're not getting facts from your junkie kid. You're not getting reality from your junkie kid. You're getting bullshit. You're getting whatever it takes for them to end up with a bag of smack in their hands. Good luck.
Thanks for watching.
Sweet, sweet.